Hey everyone, thanks for joining the Gimme Golf podcast. I am your host, Meredith Kirk, and today we are at TPC Myrtle Beach with a very special guest, the beautiful Paige Spiranac. Paige, thanks for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
I'm so excited you're here. You know, I've been following you, and I know you've been coming to Myrtle Beach more frequently. So tell me a few things that you love about Myrtle Beach.
I love everything about Myrtle Beach. I remember the first time I came here, and I didn't know what to expect, and I fell in love with the people. They're just so nice, and obviously, like, the food is really good here, and the golf courses. Like I said, I didn't know really anything about Myrtle Beach when I came in, and I was blown away by how beautiful the golf course is here. I mean, like, Caledonia, I would put against any of the most beautiful golf courses in the world, and it's one of the best.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you're driving into Caledonia, it's almost like you want to stop your car, pull over, and just snap pictures.
Yeah, it's something really special. I mean, and not just that course, but there's so many courses here, and they're all great, which is, like, awesome. So I always tell people, if, like, you want to get away for, like, a bachelor party or really anything, like, go to Myrtle Beach because they have, like, the best golf courses.
Yeah, and there's so much variety, too. And when you play golf, like, on the northern end, even the terrain's a little bit different. And then you play, like, in central Myrtle Beach, and it's different. So it's cool because, you know, in our 65-mile stretch, there's just so many different types, variety. This morning somebody asked me what my favorite was, and I said Polly's Plantation.
Oh, yeah, Polly's
But it's
good.
similar, and I know it's because it has that low country feel, that southern charm, like Caledonia does. I love that. So you're right. Everybody needs to come here and just experience Myrtle Beach.
Yes, for sure.
Okay, so one of my other questions for you. So you're always looking fabulous on the golf course. Can you give us girls some beauty tips? Like, what do you do to look so good on the golf course? Like, I'll look at, like, pictures of you. I'm like, all right, how is she doing her hair like that? Like, you're always able to pull off an amazing look. Like, how much time does it take you? Just a couple little tips that us girls can use.
Yeah, so I think obviously what you see on maybe like social media or when I'm doing like Instagram or YouTube, that is just, I go out, I take a picture, and then I come back in. So you need to like manage your expectations. But I will say, like, I love wearing visors because you're able to do really cute hairstyles. So I always try to grab like two pieces at the front, kind of twist them, do something a little bit interesting, trying to mix it up a little bit. And then I actually go for, instead of traditional golf clothes, I tend to go for different athletic brands. So like a Lululemon or Free People, they have athletic brand now too, which is really great. And so I just go for things that are different and more comfortable. So when you're out there, you're not like pulling at your clothes all the time or tugging. And then also, like, with makeup, I found like a couple really great brands that are like long lasting, that are great to wear. So I live and die by the Chanel foundation. It's the best foundation out there. It's long wear, but it's not very thick or heavy. And it's moisturizing.
Luminous, like the luminous one. I think I know which one.
And it has an SPF 20 in it too, which is really great. And then you have to do the Laura Mercier setting powder over it, and you're going to look great all day long. And if you do that, it doesn't really rub off on your shirt as much either, which is like, I know, a big thing with girls. Like, you don't always want to do that. And then they also have there's so many different like lip glosses or things that you can do that like give it a little bit of a color, but you still feel like sporty and you're not wearing like a full face of makeup when you're out there.
No, because I'm looking at you now, and to me you don't look like you have a lick of makeup on and you're so beautiful. Like, that's just so not right. But you really, I mean, you do have a sporty look, but very naturally pretty. I mean, listen, good genetics.
I could say the same for you, so no, thank you.
Okay, so my next question. Does it ever get annoying, because you are an attractive female out in the golf course, with guys staring at you? Or do you ever just get to a point where you're like, okay, like, stop staring at me?
I think that I'm so desensitized to it now because I just grew up in this environment of being the only female at a golf course. And I'm sure you can relate as well that, like, it doesn't matter, like, what I'm wearing or what I look like, even when I was younger, just to see, like, a 13-year-old on a golf course where there's just only guys, you're going to get looked at. And so even now, like, I almost, like, have my blinders on and I don't even think about it because it's just something that I'm, like, always used to. I'm used to being around guys. I don't even think twice about it. And I will say, too, so many guys are really respectful, so they don't really come up to me or really say anything, or, like, if I'm practicing, they're not trying to interrupt me. So I don't notice it.
Right.
But I can see why women, when they come into this environment, feel very uncomfortable right away because they're not used to it.
Right.
You know, they're used to being surrounded by, like, you know, equal parts men and women. So here, like, in golf, it's not like that. You look down the driving range, you're like, yeah, I'm the only girl here.
Right.
Yeah, and it can feel uncomfortable, but I think you have to remember, like, if they're looking, like, just ignore it, focus on yourself. And, like, one tip that I always do is if you don't want someone to come up to you, wear headphones. Wear big headphones. And even if you don't want to listen to music, if maybe it doesn't even matter, but if you put them on, no one's going to come up to you.
I love that. Isn't that good, Nate?
Wow.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, yeah.
If I'm wearing headphones around you, Meredith, then you know why. Right?
Yeah.
You'll want to wear headphones all the time. Okay, so what do you do to de-stress?
I think just, like, I travel so much and I'm never home, and so just, like, being home with, like, my dog and, like, my family, that's, like, the most important thing to me, and, like, the time where I can just get away. So I love my dog so much. I'm, like, obsessed with my dog, and so just, like, spending time with him and, like, taking him for walks and, like, leaving my phone at home, like, that's the biggest thing for me to, like, de-stress. Like, I'm constantly connected to my phone because that's my business.
Yeah, that's got to be challenging.
Yeah, so it's hard because, like, my job is to, like, look through comments and to be always on social media, and that obviously adds so much stress onto really anyone's life, is to always, like, be caught up to date with everything. And so I always try to, like, leave my phone at home whenever I can and just, like, disconnect and get away instead of always just, like, having it there and looking at it and feeling like I have to look at it.
Right. Have you ever taken, like, a 24-hour detox break from it?
I don't think I could do that because the one thing that's, like, so great and not so great is, like, you never know what's going to happen, and so you always have to, like, be connected to your phone because it could be either, like, something big in the golf world happens and you always want to be the one to tweet about it or talk about it, or, you know, someone says something to me and I want to make sure that I'm responding to them. So it's like, I think there's times where you definitely can disconnect, but I can't go, like,
you can't go
it
that
would just
long.
be, because to me it's work, and it would just be like, I'm just not going to show up to work for 24 hours.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just not going to show up to work today.
Right, that's a good point.
You know, and so it's like, I do take my time where it's like, I do work, but I take my time off as well, but, like, I can't just put it to the side and just say, like, I'm not going to do it, because that's, you know, that's important to me, and I have to keep that up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you are a golf influencer, and, you know, we were talking about clothes, getting back to, you know, what you wear on the course. Natalie Golbis, I mean, she really started that trend of wearing skirts, like really cute skirts. And I love Natalie. She's awesome. And so she really played a role in that, and I feel like you've played a role in more of the athletic wear of what you're wearing, like the athletic pants and like that comfortable, stretchy material. It's definitely kind of like you've kind of started that trend. I do see a difference when I'm on social media, looking at the female players. I'm like, they're copying Paige. They're copying Paige. Paige wore that first. So anyway, I credit that to you wearing the athletic wear. Okay, so I want to talk about your golf game because you're a great golfer. I think most people are realizing that now. You know, I think in the beginning when you came out, because your attractiveness and all of that, it was more of an emphasis of that. But but you've been in the golf world for a number of years now. I think you've really proved yourself with your game. Would there ever be a time that you would want to play again professionally?
Probably not. I think there might be a time where I want to revisit it and go back, but I played junior golf, I played college golf, I played that year professionally, and I didn't enjoy it. There wasn't something that I liked, and I think a lot of people think that I just wasn't good enough to make it, but there's so many other factors that contribute into being a good professional golfer. Like, you have to like the lifestyle of traveling all the time. You have to have the right mental attitude, and you obviously have to be very skilled at it. And I always, like, my physical ability is there, but mentally I was always lacking, and that was one of the reasons why, like, I never performed all that great under pressure, because I just wasn't very confident with myself. I didn't really love what I was doing. I didn't really feel, like, welcomed by the other girls, and so that all affected my golf game. And so they look back and they see these scores and they think that that's a reflection on my skill level, which isn't true. So it's fun to see kind of now where like I do play a lot of pro-ams at like PGA Tour events, and people are like, oh, like you're actually like a decent golfer. I'm like, yeah, because I have no stress, no pressure. Like I can just swing away. And like I have done this for such a long time, and that's why I love like YouTube and being able to talk about all this stuff, because I don't want to be just known for, you know, nice pictures on Instagram.
Right.
Like because I have dedicated my whole life to this, and I think that's what kind of sets me apart from a lot of the other girls that do what I do, is that I got into the media side because I had to pay for my professional career. I didn't get into or just pick up golf or just think of this because I thought it was a way to get followers and make money.
Right.
Which is, you know, a little bit different from other people.
Exactly.
And so I do like to show off the fact that I can play golf and I am knowledgeable. And so now to like use that and talk about that but still make it fun and, you know, back to like what I want to do. But to think about playing professionally, I just don't know if that's like a passion of mine, because I love what I get to do now, and like I can make a bogey and it doesn't matter, which is awesome, you know.
Or you could just pick up your ball.
I can pick up, like it's so funny. I always joke like I haven't made a bogey since I stopped playing, because I just pick up after if it's like 4, I'm good, we're done. So it's like that's what I like about it, because I lost that joy of playing when I was playing professionally, and now to like have that back and to like just have fun. And I think that reflects a lot in my content, because in the beginning of my career I wasn't really enjoying golf. I was just doing it because I had to do it, and now it's like I can enjoy golf and I can share that with so many people.
That's so cool. And now you have a podcast.
Yes.
So I want to talk about that. Is it called Playing Around with Paige?
Playing Around with Paige Spiranac.
That's really a cute name. Like, and I saw your picture. It's really cute. So tell us, like, what are your goals with the podcast? How is it going? Are you reaching a lot of people?
Yeah, it's been really great so far. We are 3 episodes in. I wasn't sure how it was going to do, because a lot of people haven't really heard me talk. I mean, they only see pictures of me or like videos.
Or edited things.
Edited things.
You don't see sometimes editing is really hard, because you can be on TV and you can say something, and then people kind of judge you based on one statement, but they don't see the 5 minutes before and the 5 minute after dialogue, like the full context.
For sure. And I think I struggled before when I worked with different media companies. They wanted me to be this person that they thought I was, and so I never had any creative control, and they always controlled the narrative, and so they almost kept putting me into this box of like, you're just this one type of person, like this is the only content you can do, and these are the lines you have to say, and this is all you can do. And that was really frustrating for me, because I always felt like I have so many things that have happened to me in my career that I've wanted to talk about, and not just me, but like women in the golf industry and things that are happening in golf that most people maybe don't want to talk about or are afraid to talk about. But since I've had a different path in the golf industry, I'm already kind of on the outside, so I don't really have to worry about being accepted, so I can talk about all these things. And so that's what's been really nice and kind of liberating.
It is liberating.
Telling my stories. And, you know, like episode 3 that just came out, I talked about a very personal experience for me, and just to see like the outreach of like the positivity and the support from all of these people, and to like actually use my voice to make a difference, or to bring up a topic that might have been, you know, uncomfortable for a lot of people to discuss, and now to just open up and share that with everyone. It's been really awesome. And so it's really exciting to like be able to do this now, and it's something so different than I think what anyone would expect me to do.
Right.
And for it to be so far successful has been exciting.
Yeah, that is. Have you ever heard of Brene Brown?
Mm-hmm.
I love Brene Brown, and she talks about vulnerability that we all have. I mean, all of us have it, and we've all been through different things. And, you know, she talks a lot about, you know, when you share your vulnerabilities, you really rise up in your innermost being of talking about different things. Like, it brings so much healing sometimes just to talk about different things that you've been through. And I really believe in vulnerability, but I think the great thing about vulnerability is as you become more vulnerable, people really truly see you for who you are. I mean, I could just look at you and potentially make judgments. I'm not, but I'm just giving an example. Anybody, it can
but
be
it happens to everyone all the time.
Yeah, and somebody can just look at me, but they don't know anything about my life or what I've been through. And it's so easy to make external judgments. And so I'm excited about your podcast. So it's Playing Around with Paige Renee. You guys need to go listen to it because you're getting vulnerable. So you're really going to get to know Paige. And I think that's going to continue to propel you in your career. Because, just putting it on the table, people like that. In this day and age, I mean, we love reality.
Mm-hmm.
We get so many false narratives. And so just being real, I mean, you'll never go wrong with that. So you're doing good on that front.
No, thank you so much. Yeah, I think that's like kind of the big thing about the podcast is nothing's off limits, and just whatever I want to talk about, we're going to talk about, and we're just going to be as open and honest. 'Cause like you were saying, like, I do think a lot of people judge me just off of, what they see, and I totally understand that because I have marketed myself in a way that a lot of people don't agree with, and I understand that, but that's just a choice that I've made. But this podcast is now, hopefully will give them a little more insight to like who I am and kind of why I've made those decisions, because they were thought out. It wasn't just because I did it. Like, every step of the way has been thought out, and I've had to do it in a certain way, and so hopefully they will understand it a little bit more instead of just kind of counting me out and discarding like everything that I've done.
Exactly. No, that's great. I'm excited for you. Okay, so my last question.
Yes.
All right, if you were not a golf influencer, what occupation would you choose?
I would definitely still be in golf or in sports in some way, but I've always wanted to, so my plan after school was to become the assistant coach at San Diego State. And so I really wanted to get into coaching, especially college coaching, because I had such a hard college career, and I wanted to kind of help other girls going through the same thing that I was going through, because college, I think, is hit or miss for a lot of athletes. And I wanted to help that out and change that. So that was my plan. I wanted to become a college coach and definitely stay in golf and do that. But it took a turn for crazy, and now I'm doing all of this stuff. But I love coaching, and that's something that's always been really interesting to me, is like helping other people. And I maybe I can still do that someday, and might want to maybe go back and do that, but that was my goal. That was my plan after school.
Yeah, well, I love that. Well, you would be a great coach. And you know what? You are actually coaching people by sharing these things about your life and all of that. It is a form of coaching. I could totally see you coaching college golf too. But you know what? The sky's the limit for you, girl. I mean, you're doing a great job. So honored to have you on here. Thank you for sharing your time with us. And everyone, thank you for listening. And don't forget to check out Paige's Playing Around with Paige Renee. So exciting. All right, guys, we'll see you next week.